Right, welcome to the hot seat. If you don't know how this works, I collect all the best questions across all my platforms and my content, and I answer them inside this series. So, before we get started, make sure you hit the notification, sub, like, and make sure you guys drop any questions in the comments, and I'll answer them for you. Now, first question is, I'm starting a new account. How do I niche down? Cool. Let's not overcomplicate this, right? Let me tell you guys something. If I can put you in a room with 40 strangers, let's say, and someone stands up and says, yo, can you talk about your thing for 30 minutes? No preparations, no slides to look at, just you? Would you actually be able to go? If the answer is no, that's your real problem. It's not niche, it's you're picking something you can't even rant about yet. People treat niche like an aesthetic. People usually say, oh, I want my niche to be high performance mindset, entrepreneurship, lifestyle, travel, gym, books, finance. Brother, that isn't your niche. That's quite literally a Pinterest board, mate. When you're starting a new account, forget the fancy frameworks for a second, right? And ask yourself, what's the thing I can talk about non-stop without having to search up anything? What do people already come to me for advice on? Let's say if a friend is stuck, right? What's the topic where I naturally start coaching them? That's usually a real niche, or at least the starting point. So let me give you a simple way to feel it. Now, imagine I actually lock you in the room with 40 people, like I mentioned earlier. And one guy comes to me and goes, hey, I keep posting content and I'm not growing. What am I doing wrong? If that question makes your brain light up, you're already forming sentences in your head, examples, mistakes, solutions. That's a good sign. If instead you're like, yeah, the algorithm waffle, yeah, you just gotta believe in yourself. You're not in a niche. You're just repeating Instagram quotes. So, quick story. When I first started, if you asked me what my niche was, I'd probably say something stupid like content, mindset, business, everything really. Translation, nothing specific, just a bunch of waffle. But if you caught me on FaceTime and said, bro, why am I getting no views? I'd go off for half an hour. Your hook is weak, your pacing's dead, you're copying people 10 years ahead, your offer's unclear, etc., etc. And that's when I realized, oh, that's the thing I can't shut up about. And that's the lane I should live in. So the niche wasn't a sentence I wrote in my bio first. It was the topic I naturally ranted about for 30 minutes. So here's how I would do it if I was you, right? I would pick a room, right? Who are the 40 strangers? Are they new creators, broke students, freelancers stuck at a certain income? Then pick the question that would wake them up like crazy. For example, why is my content not growing? Why do I feel behind? How do I get my first client? Those are the questions they would need answers for. Then ask, can I talk about that for 30 minutes straight? If you can't, you're too early or too broad. You need to narrow it down. Don't pick a broad niche. Or pick something you actually live. And your content, it just becomes you answering that question from 100 different angles. So one video could be the mistake. One video is the story. One video is the simple how-to. One video could be the mindset behind it. Another video could literally be you reacting to someone doing it wrong. Same core question, different angles. That's a niche. If you're watching this and you're like, yo, Liban, I don't know if my thing passes the 30-minute test. Drop this in the comments. If you put me in a room with 40 people, I could talk 30 minutes about and then have that gap right there. I want you to fill in that raw. Don't try to sound smart. If your answer is super vague, I'll tell you. If it's clear, I'll tell you how to turn that into content ideas. That's how you niche down. Not with a cute sentence in your bio, but with a topic you could happily talk about long after the camera dies. All right, question number 2. What do I actually need to sacrifice to become successful in life? Cool. Let's talk about what you actually have to give up, right? Not the TikTok grind set version, because people hear sacrifice and jump straight to, no sleep, no friends, no fun, just laptop, caffeine, and trauma. That's not success. That's literally a mental breakdown with a Canva account. Listen, you don't just lose things on the way up, you trade them. You're not sacrificing randomly, you're swapping cheap things for expensive things. First thing you have to sacrifice in life is being comfortable all the time. Right now, most people design their whole day around avoiding discomfort, avoiding all the hard conversations, avoiding starting the thing you wanted to, avoiding looking stupid, feeling behind, and then they wonder why nothing changes. Success literally means I'm willing to feel things other people avoid, being awkward, being scared, being embarrassed, uncertain. If you're not willing to feel those emotions, you're not blocked by strategy, you're blocked by comfort. So, yeah, you sacrifice always being comfy to get a life that's actually interesting. Now, one of the most important things to sacrifice as well is you sacrifice the version of you that everyone likes. There is a version of you right now that's convenient for other people, always available, always down to chill, always saying, yeah, sure, bro, no worries, when it actually is a worry. The minute you get serious, that version of you has to die a bit. You start saying, I can't make it, I've got work. I'm not going out this weekend, I'm filming. I've got to leave early, I've got stuff to build. Now, some people will get it, and some people will take it personally. And that's part of the sacrifice. Your old role in other people's lives. You're not just changing your schedule, you're changing the story people have about you. Now, third, you sacrifice cheap dopamine. This has been one of the biggest problems for many people I know. Like, you can't tell me you want to be successful when your brain needs a new hit every 12 seconds. Now, you don't have to go monk mode and delete the whole internet, but you do have to be honest. If you can't sit with your own thoughts for 20 minutes without checking your phone, how are you going to sit with a problem for 6 months? So, yeah, you sacrifice some scrolling, some Netflix, some TikTok, some I'll just play one game that turns into an hour in exchange for deep work, building skills, and the weird dopamine you get from taking off real progress. Now, the fourth thing is you sacrifice the fantasy of balance at the start, not forever. In the beginning, something will be lopsided, right? There will be seasons where you work more than you'd like, you're more tired than usual, you miss some events. Now, for the people that keep selling you perfect balance from day one, are either lying or already rich. There's a difference between being reckless and being realistic. You don't have to ruin your health or relationships, but you also can't tiptoe to big goals. For a season, you're going to be a bit obsessed, and that's okay, as long as you're intentional. Now, as for the last thing, right? The biggest sacrifice is this: you sacrifice the right to blame everything else. Once you decide, I'm going for this, you kind of lose the luxury of, it's the algorithm, it's the economy, it's no one supports me, all these excuses. Now, naturally, you might still be feeling these things. Cool. But you keep moving anyway. So, what do you need to sacrifice to be successful? Constant comfort, the version of you that keeps everyone happy. Cheap dopamine, the fantasy that you can change your life without feeling any friction whatsoever. And the habit of blaming everything except the person in the mirror. Now, you're not throwing your life away, you're trading short term ease for long term options. If you're watching this and you know there's something you need to drop, just put it in the comments. If I'm honest, the thing I need to sacrifice is blank. You don't need to write a whole essay. Just be real with yourself first. And then we can talk about what to do next. Now, question 3. How do you get clients using content without looking salesy? All right, so this question is a deep question, and I'm only giving you the half answer here on purpose because there's a full breakdown video coming where I literally show scripts, funnels, examples, the whole thing. So think of what I'm going to say as the overview, not the final version. So, first things first, right? Most people out there are either shouting or hiding. When I say shouting, I mean, new program, limited spots, DM me ready. Every single post. And then hiding is dropping pure value forever. Cool. But never mentioning they actually sell something. And then crying to the group chat saying, bro, why does no one ever buy from me? Getting clients through content is the middle ground, right? You need to treat it as that. You teach so well that they already trust you. And you give them a clear door to walk through if they want more. No pressure, just a door. So here's the first layer. Stop trying to sell and start showing how you think. Clients don't buy education, they buy decision making. If your content sounds like 5 tips to grow, 3 habits of successful people, Motivation Monday, you literally sound like everyone else. You sound like a bot. But if your content sounds like, here's why your last 10 posts didn't convert and what I'd change. If you're stuck at 3K a month, this is the bottleneck you're not seeing. Or what I do in your situation if I had 0 followers and 1 offer. Now they're not just learning, they're thinking. They're like, okay, this person understands my exact situation. That feeling is what makes people DM you, not the fancy logo, not the DM ready if you want to work with me script. It's the sense that your brain fits their problem. Now, as for the second layer, I want to emphasize your stories matter so much than your slogans, right? Now, let me get into detail. If you want clients without sounding salesy, stop saying, I can help you, and start showing who you've helped and how. Not in a cringe way where you say, oh, my client made 100K in 2 hours. You need to be like, cool. I've worked with someone who was posting 3 times a day and still not getting clients. We changed their content from look at me to this is what I do in your exact scenario. One of their reels turned into 7 sales calls. Here's the exact shift. Now that right there, that's not salesy. That's literally you walking people through how you operate. You're not saying buy now. You're saying here's what it looks like when I solve the problem you currently have. That's what makes someone go, yeah, I kind of just want you to do that for me. Now, for the third layer, make the next step feel normal. So, this is where most people ruin it the most. They do all this chilled, helpful content, but then the call to action feels like a jump scare. You want your call to action to sound like the next logical step, not a plot twist. For example, if you're in this exact situation and want help applying this to your content, DM me content and I'll send you how I work with people. If you want my eyes on your page and offer, drop audit in the comments and I'll reach out. Or you could say, if you're done guessing, I've got a program that builds this with you. Links in my bio if you want the details. No pressure, just doors. They're already nodding along from your content. You're just saying, if you want me in your corner properly, here's where I am. Now, I'm going to stop here on purpose because there's a full video I want to do on, which is about how to turn content into clients without being cringe, where I'll break down actual post examples, content structures that lead to DMs, and how to handle the DM conversation without sounding like a robot. Now, if you want me to drop that video, drop a comment, and if there's enough of it, I'll release the long version and literally use your page as examples. So that's the hot seat questions done. If you want me to answer your questions, drop it on the YouTube comments or go on my Instagram as well, and I'll be answering all the best questions on this series. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you turn your notifications on for when I drop the next banger. I'll be posting every day, so don't miss out. See you tomorrow.